What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another round of the Picks and Parlays Power Hour. I'm Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays, and don't forget about our official sponsor, Caesars Sportsbook. Check out the description to this video and find the link to get yourself hooked up with Caesars, up to $1,250 risk-free first bet for all new accounts. With me today, we have a lot to unpack. We're talking soccer, college football. We've got NFL, and I've got three expert handicappers from Picks and Parlays to talk to all of you about all of that. We're going to start this off with a little bit of EPL. I've got the Iceman, Jesse Schul is here. How's it going, friend?
Good to be back with you, Allie. We missed you last week.
Yes. Stuff going on last week. Lots of kids stuff happening, but I'm here now, and we are going to rock some of these free picks. So let's start off with Man City at Tottenham. Total on this one is a 3.5. What are we looking at in this match?
Well, Man City is flying right now. They're coming off a big 4-0 win at Sevilla in Champions League play. And I think that sets them up for a bit of a letdown here. From a situational standpoint, I like Spurs. Spurs have played tough against Man City. In fact, last year they beat them twice. And in the last 5 matches, Spurs have won 3 of the last 5 matches. One of those 2 losses was by a score of 1-0, and you can get Spurs plus 1.5 goals. And of course, in a soccer match, plus 1.5 goals is a ton. City is probably one of the best teams in the world right now. Erling Haaland just scores goals at ease, but Spurs can score goals too. Richarlison's been playing quite well for them. They got a guy named Harry Kane, good-looking fella. He tends to score a few. I like Tottenham's chances of hanging in there and keeping this a close game.
All right. I love it. A freaking goal and a half. Let's go. That's fantastic, especially at a minus 119. I mean, that is not a typical number that I see in soccer, at least on my betting app anyway. So let's roll with the Tottenham Spurs plus 1.5 goals at minus 119. I'm loving that. Okay, so up next, we are going to move into some college football. But before we do, I got to remind everybody that we've got a great deal going on over at picksandparlays.net. It's our all football pass and our all NFL pass. Okay, now this is an early bird special, so the deal is going to end this Monday, people. You want to jump on top of it, get the NFL season pass at $649 or the all football pass at $799, and you can use that promo code NFL to save you 20% off of both of those. Okay, so let's move into our next matchup. We're talking Syracuse at UConn. Now, Cuse is minus 23 points. That opened at a 20. All the cash has been on Cuse, and so that line's moving up accordingly. The total was at a 54. Now it's down to a 49. So what are you looking at for this one, Jesse?
Well, it's week 2 in college football, and you know what that means, Allie? It's overreaction week.
Yes.
Cuse, of course, is coming off that big upset against Louisville. And if you look at that game, Malik Cunningham threw a pair of picks. He fumbled twice. One of those was lost. If Cunningham wasn't giving them the ball, would they have won that game? And if they didn't win that game, what would the line in this game against UConn be? I'm going to tell you it would probably be around 16.5 if Syracuse didn't get quite fortunate last week. So it opened, like you said, at 20. It's as high as 23.5 at some books. I'm telling you, wait on it. You'll get that 23.5. I'm sure of it, because all the money is going to come in on Cuse. Nobody likes UConn. UConn's been one of the worst teams in the country for the last couple of years, but they got Jim Mora now. It's a different story. This team can run the football. I like what I've seen from them. They actually rank in the top 20. I mean, it's only 2 weeks, but they rank in the top 25 in the country right now, averaging 259.5 rushing yards per game. Syracuse is just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 versus UConn, and a lot of those games were close, like single digits, certainly under 20 points margin of victory. So I really like UConn, but of course, correlating parlay, take the under. If Syracuse can't score points, it's going to go under, right?
That's just it. I kind of like this as a teaser too, taking UConn in the under as a tease as well. But I agree. You've got, well, like you said, you thought this should be closer to 16. It did open at a 20. Now we're getting 23.5. by the time this thing's ripe. So yeah, you're just getting a ton of extra added points in this one on the UConn side. So it just makes sense that that's the way we're going to roll here. So UConn plus the 23 points and the under 49 is Jesse's official pick. All right, now to talk some NFL. The real deal stuff. It's week 1. Jesse, I don't know if you knew, but it's week 1 in the NFL this week. It's like starting.
Is it?
For real. It's going down for real. And we're going to talk the Raiders at the Chargers. I live in Las Vegas, so this Raiders team, everyone in my town is real freaking hype about this. Opened at a -4, Chargers -4. We're seeing it down to the -3. And then the total on that one was a 51.5. It bumped up just a little bit to a 52. How are you looking at this one?
Well, Allie, you said you're living in Las Vegas. You got to love the Raiders this year. I mean, they added Devontae Adams to a roster that already made the playoffs a year ago. I'm a bit of a Derek Carr fan. I look at what Matthew Stafford did moving to the Rams, and I think Derek Carr is every bit as good as Matthew Stafford. But as my friend Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friends. Here's the bad news on the Raiders. Pro Football Focus preseason ranked their offensive line 29th in the NFL, and their comment is even more interesting than their ranking. Their comment was, if right tackle Alex Leatherwood can improve his play, they have a chance to be much better. Well, we know what happened to Leatherwood. They released him, so that's not going to happen. So theoretically, they could be even worse. If you don't have an offensive line to keep Derek Carr upright, you're going to be in trouble. This is not a good spot going up against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack on the road, week 1. Not a lot of time to develop chemistry between Adams and Carr. As much as I like the Raiders, I just don't like them this week.
I can't get mad at you about this, quite honestly. I mean, the Chargers, they looked like they were, I don't want to say they were hiding something in the preseason, but they looked like they were preparing for the regular season. Some of those teams were just like happy. I'm a Texans fan. We were just happy to get out there and like win some games, but regular season's a different beast. So Chargers -3 is going to be your official pick on this one. And I wish I could disagree with you, but I can't. Why is all that money moving towards the cash was 55% on the Chargers and the 4 goes to a 3? Can you give me a reason why it's moving that way?
I think if you look at some stats, some trends, you'll see divisional dogs, week 1, this kind of thing. People like to play dogs in week 1, but like I say, I just think it's a terrible matchup for the Raiders.
I'm picking up what you're putting down on this one. And people at home, if you guys want to pick up what Jesse is putting down, go over to picksandparlays.net. He is number 2 over the last 30 days on the website, 55 and 34. He's up $1,100. So if you want to follow his premium plays, go to picksandparlays.net, use the promo code NFL. And if you want to jump on, again, that early bird special, $649 for the all NFL pass or $799 for the all football pass. And again, use that promo code NFL to save you the 20%. Thank you so much, Jesse, for stopping by the Power Hour. I'll see you again next week.
See you next week.
Cheers. Okay, so 2 more cappers to go. We've got Sean Higgs up next. He's going to be talking some ASU college ball, some Baylor college ball, and finishing it up with the Broncos and the Seahawks. I know everyone's very excited about that game. I know I sure am. So without further ado, let's bring in Mr. Sean Higgs from Winning Free Picks. What's going on, Higgy?
How are you, Miss Allie?
I'm rocking and rolling. Let's start unpacking. We got a full suitcase. That's my word of the day, apparently. We're talking to ASU at
what's
Oklahoma
in your suitcase,
State.
Allie? What is in your suitcase? What's in your suitcase?
Well, all these games.
Did you ever see Up in the Air with George Clooney? Up in the Air, he's like a motivational. What's in your suitcase? You pack everything in there. How heavy is it? It's interesting. I like it.
I have not
Not a huge Clooney fan. I like the obviously Ocean's 11, the Vegas stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, Up in the Air, pretty good. I liked it.
All right. Okay, so let's talk ASU at OSU. Right. This one opened Oklahoma State -10.5. We've got 84% of the money on Oklahoma State, and it goes to an 11.5. Then we've got the total 53. A little confusing. 73% of the money is on the over. It moves up to a 58. It's just like a really big jump for me for only that amount of money to be on it. I mean, 73 is no joke, but that's a lot of points to move. So what happened with the total there, and what are you liking in this one?
Well, who's the money coming from? If it's just some guy who's out with his friends, who cares if he got $100,000? That's nobody. You know, somebody else comes in who they respect with 20 grand, they're gonna be like, well, all right, I respect this. You know, so that, depending where it comes, is one thing. But also, let's look at, the Oklahoma State team here. So last week's, they were up 51-15 before the 58-44. So they're going to put some points on the board here. Mm-hmm. And Arizona State had a little cupcake, Northern Arizona, a little step up in class. You expect Sanders here, quiet Heisman kind of guy, right? First week, second week, he could talk. Anybody could be a Heisman hopeful guy. We're going to throw 5-6 touchdown passes. He's going to exploit this team. Listen, Herm Edwards, you cannot like Herm. They bring in Brian Billick, running things over there now on the offense. But still, a couple guys back on offense, couple back on defense, not hugely deep on either side of the ball. They're going to give up 40+ here. And the OSU defense lost some guys, new coordinator over there. I expect, listen, would I love to see another 55-30 type of affair here? I don't know if we're going to get my question is, can Arizona State put up the 30? I think Oklahoma State's going to put up their 40-50. I think the offense is that good, and they're going to be home. They're no problem putting points on the board. We saw it last week against Central Michigan. So give me the over here. I kind of lean a little bit towards Oklahoma State as well. I just think ASU's a little work to do on both sides of the ball. Young, inexperienced, and Sooners offense, man, they look like they're in midseason form already. So let's go over this 57.
All right.
If you want to do a team total too, I think Oklahoma, again, I think they close in on 50. So.
All right. So maybe the Cowboys team total over whatever that total would be. We don't have that information right now.
I don't have it right in front of me.
It's out there. It's out there for you guys to check it out. Okay, so again, with the All Footballs Pass, Sean Higgs is a great guy to pick up one of these early bird specials from as well. NFL All Season $649, All Football $799, and use the promo code NFL to save 20% off either of those passes for you. Let's keep going with that college football. Baylor Bears are taking on BYU. We've got BYU at a -3. We've got 64% of the cash on Baylor, and that -3 is sticking at the key number. The total only moved up a little halfer, 53 to 53.5. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, I got a BYU at a +1.5. I went off for a spot. Wait, this is on Sunday, early lines kind of stuff. But this Baylor, it did creep up to a 3.5, and then immediately was gone. Because Baylor beat these guys last year, 38-24, really took care of business there. But I still think BYU's to play here, right? You're thinking Mountain West, it's still the Big 12 champion, no less, right? They won the Big 12 championship game. Going over this on the side, now I'm kind of torn at the 3. Like, pick them, okay. Now it's juiced up a little bit. I still like my Cougars, but I like the under. I like the under because I think Baylor, you played a cupcake last week. You played Albany. My brother-in-law played football for Albany. All right. I mean, he works for one of the gas companies now. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. He's a Dane. I mean, but let's be honest. He's a great guy. I don't know how he was at 20 playing against Baylor guys. Big step up from Albany to Baylor. Where BYU, you went cross country, and I was kind of like, you know what? Maybe I take the home team as a double-digit dog here, right? BYU coming out of the mountains, it's hot Florida. We got Baylor next week, maybe a little look-ahead spot. No way. BYU out of the gate just rolled, but again, step-up competition. 2 good teams here. BYU actually has Oregon on deck too, so it's not like they have this is a team you can't take any spot for granted. I think defense. Low scoring kind of grind that BYU slowed them down last time. And I think BYU rebuilding a lot different pieces offensively. I wasn't a fan of their offense last year, but good O-line, good D-line for both of them. I'm going to say a grinder. I'm going to go under.
All right. So the official play for Baylor and BYU is under 53.5 points for Sean Higgs. Let's cruise over to the NFL. This is probably the game that I'm most excited about. I like the Seahawks a whole lot, and I like Russell Wilson a whole lot, and also I like the Broncos a whole lot. So I just kind of like everything about this game a whole lot. And I don't know if I want to choose a side. to tell you the truth. This is one of those games I just like want to sit back and relax and take it all in. But for the purposes of this show, Broncos are -6.5 at the Seahawks. The total's 44.5. Russell Wilson is coming home. What are we going to do about it, Sean Higgs?
I got to tell you, these lines came out in June, and I'm like, give me Seattle and the under right out of the gate. And the under came down, but yet somehow we've gone from a 3.5 and a 4 up to a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, what is going on? What, am I missing something here? Russell Wilson has thrown as many passes as John Elway this August. 0, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand. You play your practices and stuff like this, and they're pros. I want to take Seattle here. Now I haven't bet this game, but I like Seattle. You know everything, every plus and minus about Wilson, as he knows about your bad offense. But are you telling me the guys on Seattle don't want to kind of take this a little more? Like, all right, you want to leave us? Like you're just trying to get out of here? For me, it's Seattle. I get it. Geno Smith, you're like, who's this offense? I think they're gonna have him short fielded. Think Penny out of the backfield. And Denver, again, you have a lot of nice pieces on this team. I'm not saying no. I would have liked to see Drew Lock. Him and Font for like 3 touchdown passes would have been a great story. Like everybody's talking about Russell Wilson, but here comes Noah Font off his old team and Drew Lock. But we get Geno. I'm taking it does worry me though, because there's a quick bounce out, kind of like that KC and Arizona total going up. The spread on that game. I'm still taking a home dog here. Any home dogs in NFL Week 1? Sign me up. There's a dozen of them. I'm going to never turn down 6.5 points at home against a guy who left you high and dry.
Well, and this is a Monday night game too, and with 95% of the cash on the Broncos, I mean,
everybody's gonna bet.
Like everybody's going to be on them. It's going to be that game. Maybe the NFL wants us all to start out with a big winner on our first Monday Night Football, but that's a lot of money to be paying out. I like the Seahawks here as well. The coach knows Wilson, the team knows Wilson, the city knows Wilson, and maybe Russell wants to roll in there and say, hey, look at me now, or something like that. But, I don't think that they want to get beat by their own guy on their home field. So I'm going to roll with this as well. Seahawks +6.5. Again, I don't think I'll bet this one either. I just want to watch, but there could be some fantastic in-play opportunities in this game. So keep your little peepers open for in-play magic, because I feel like it could happen here. People at home, if you're looking for Sean Higgs premium plays, head over to picksandparlays.net. He was number 1 on our site yesterday. He was number 2 over the last 7 days, and you're number 2 on our hottest handicapper list. You're up almost $800 on the week. So get it, Sean Higgs, and also get your NFL season pass or your all football pass from Sean Higgs as well, and use the promo code NFL. It's going to save you 20% off whatever you get from Sean or any of our cappers. All right, Mr. Higgs, I will see you soon. Thanks so much for stopping by the Power Hour.
Take it easy.
All right. One more to go. We've got Mr. Cameron Ross rolling in to talk USC, Washington State, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Cameron Ross, how are you doing today, friend?
What's going on? How is everything?
Everything is good, man. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. Let's get the party started.
Right.
Granted, it already started in college, so we'll go week 2 college football. USC is at Stanford. This number has been moving around as well. We've got USC at the 8.5. It did open at a 10.5, and then we've got a total 67.5. It opened at a 65. So moving up there. All the money's on USC, but the points are going the wrong way. Why was 75% of the cash on USC? Did the 10.5 turn to an 8.5? What's going on, Cam? Tell me.
The Pac-12 completely laid an egg in week 1. Everybody had all their high hopes on Utah, and now it's really these 2 teams. I think there's more people that are anti-USC than anything. Me, on the other hand, I'm not. I do like USC here. I think USC is the Pac-12's best chance in God knows how long to break the seal, and they're their only chance to get into the playoff. They are on the road. It's not that far. The fans are going to travel. I do like USC here. Stanford is a good team, and I think people are playing off of what Stanford has been in years past, what they can do. Stanford probably feels disrespected, a home dog, but they're against a really, really good team that's expected to shine. new coach, new quarterback. These guys are still trying to make their name, and they played well last week, but they played Rice. They scored 66 points.
Yeah.
USC is going to score points. They are going to for sure score points. And see, the biggest thing for me is Stanford only scored 41 against Colgate. That's not enough. It's going to be 10 times harder this week. I think USC is going to do enough. I don't know if USC is going to score 60 points. I don't know how big of a blowout it'll be, but I do think USC is going to win this game comfortably. And even though it's a long road, I think they're going to keep their eyes on the college football playoff as they have another good showing in week 2.
Yeah, a lot of expectations out of Lincoln Riley and this new squad. So, I mean, it's really a put your money where your mouth is kind of situation. But I've been trembling over USC for most of this, preseason, for waiting for college football to start. I really feel like Lincoln Riley's got the goods to make a name for himself at USC. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. And I would agree, USC would be the way that I would roll with this one. Let's move into Washington State. This is one of my favorite teams. They're taking on Wisconsin. We got the Badgers at minus 17.5. The total's 49.5. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, I think I really think this line is inflated in the wrong way. I think people are jumping to conclusions and just it's just overwhelming. Washington State hosted Idaho last week. Washington State got the win 24-17. Mm-hmm. Idaho jumped out 10-0 in the first quarter. It was 10-10 going into the half. Washington State didn't play a bad game. They had close to 400 yards, 360-something yards. But Washington State, penalties, and they had 3 turnovers. It was just sloppy. It was just gross. It's really what it was. And I think too many people are jumping to conclusions with that game. They got the nerves out. They're going to be ready to go. But on the same side, and then Wisconsin is ranked, and it's just hoopla. But Wisconsin won 38-0. But they played Illinois State. They should have. To me, they should have done more. I do think Wisconsin's going to win this game, but I think Washington State is going to have enough nerves out to stay within this big number, and it may be Washington State that's going to jump out early. But I for sure think Washington State is going to play better, and they're going to protect the ball much better, because I would imagine that's been an emphasis all week leading up to this game. So I'm going to give all the points to Washington State, as I think they'll cover. I do think Wisconsin will get the home win, but I think Washington State can stay within this big number.
It's a lot of points. It definitely is a lot of points. Maybe I want to tease your 2 plays and take USC and Washington State in a little teasy
one down, tease one up. I see what you did there.
I do like to tease the college footballs. I'm sorry, but I do. The odds makers are sharp. They're usually pretty close on their lines, and I like to just tease them and give myself a little advantage sometimes. Lenny told me to. All right, so before we move into the NFL, I do want to remind everybody about the NFL season pass. This ends on Monday, everybody, okay? So just a couple days left, and you can't get this special price anymore. $649 for the NFL all season pass. Every single game that Cameron Ross picks in the NFL, you can get it for that low price, or take his all football pass. That's the college and the NFL, $7.99, and use the promo code NFL to save you 20% off of either one of them. All right. We are talking the Chiefs and the Cardinals. Now, this is a big game for me because Patrick Mahomes is my fantasy quarterback. So I hope that I'm going to get good news in this pick is really what I'm looking for here. It opened at Chiefs -3, but with 63% of the cash on the Chiefs, it's gone to a 6. That 53 has ticked to a 53.5. What are you looking at in this one? Cameron Ross, say it's the Chiefs, and Mahomes going to have a great game.
All right, I'll say that. I do think it is the Chiefs, and Mahomes is going to have a good game. The Chiefs have been the top of the mountain in the AFC for the last few years. They won a ring. They got put out last year. They beat the Bills. They had one of the greatest playoff games ever last year. But I think the Chiefs are gonna play well in this game. I think they're gonna control this game, and I think they are gonna win by a touchdown because I know they lost Tyreek Hill, but the Chiefs are still loaded. They're still completely loaded on both sides of the ball. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They have good running backs. They have good receivers. One of the best tight ends in the league. Their defense is strong. But I think the Chiefs feel disrespected. because all summer, all spring, Bills. And the
Yeah.
Bills open tonight, and I think the Chiefs feel disrespected, and I also truly think sooner or later, Cliff Kingsbury is going to get in the way. Cliff Kingsbury has 1 or 2 or 3 times per game, especially big primetime type games like this, where he just completely blows it and gets in the way. And I think he's going to cost them. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I would imagine the Chiefs are probably going to win by 10 or so. I think Kyler Murray will play well, but the Chiefs will get to him. He'll get shaky, and I think the Chiefs will pull away and get the win and cover.
All right, so that's the way we're going to play this. Cam's pick is the Chiefs -6. All right, I'm feeling that. Do you have any just feelings, a lean on the over or the under? 47.5 to a 49, 87% of the cash is on the over. Do you have any feelings?
I think the Chiefs are going to score 30 plus. I don't know how many the Cardinals are going to score. I think the Chiefs are going to get at least a 30 ball, though.
Okay.
So no real lean on the total. I think the Chiefs are just going to come in and outscore the Cardinals and get this win.
Okay. That's fair. Sometimes we just don't give a bet if we don't have a good feeling on that bet, because sometimes the best bet you make is the one that you don't make. Okay. So we're just rolling Chiefs -6 is how we're doing it. People, don't forget to check out Cameron Ross over at picksandparlays.net. That's where we keep all of his premium plays, and use that promo code NFL to save 20%. Don't forget about the All Sports Pass, the All Football Pass. It's an early bird special that ends on Monday. $6.49 for the NFL or $7.99 for college and NFL. Use that promo code NFL to save the 20%. We'll see you guys next time on the Power Hour. Thanks, everyone.
See you.